We live in a world that just never stops, right? So what if we all just paused? That's the huge question at the heart of this incredible poem by Pablo Neruda, Keeping Quiet. And that's what we're diving into today. All right, so first things first, who is the guy behind these words? Pablo Neruda. You might have heard of him, a Chilean poet, a Nobel Prize winner. I mean, the man was a genius at using really simple, beautiful images to talk about these huge, deep ideas. And this poem, it's the perfect example of his whole philosophy, that just being quiet, just looking inward could actually help us all understand each other a little better.
So right from the get-go, the poem hits you with this totally radical idea. Think about it. Our world is all about moving, talking, working, constantly. But what if, just for a second, we just stopped? What would happen if everything just went silent?
And this gets to what Neruda saw as a really big problem with modern life. He talks about how we're always single-minded about keeping our lives moving. You know the feeling, right? Always focused on the next thing, the next deadline, the next ping from your phone. And in all that rush, we kind of lose touch with ourselves and with everything else too.
So what would that pause even feel like? Neruda doesn't think it would be boring or empty. No, he calls it an exotic moment. How cool is that? He pictures this sudden strangeness where all the noise, the traffic, the machines, all of it just stops. And in that quiet, he thinks we might actually feel, maybe for the first time, like we're all in this together.
Okay, so how do we get there? How do we find this exotic moment? Well, Neruda's proposal is this just beautifully simple. It's really an invitation, and it's for every single one of us.
And it all starts with just one number, 12. Why 12? Well, you can think of it in a few ways. Maybe the 12 hours on a clock or the 12 months of the year. It represents a kind of complete small cycle. The point is, it's not forever. It's something you can actually do. A deliberate, manageable pause.
And he's super specific with the instructions. He says, first, we count to 12. Then, we all keep still. And check this out, we don't speak in any language. That's huge, because it breaks down all the barriers between us, right? We stop for just 1 second, and we don't even move our arms so much. It's about total stillness, a truly universal pause.
All right, so let's really get into it. Let's say we all did this. We all count to 12 and just stop. What would actually happen? What's the point of all this sudden strangeness?
Well, for one, all our destructive habits would just stop. He gives this image of fishermen in the cold sea not harming whales. The fisherman here, he's kind of like all of us, representing our impact on nature. So for that one moment, there's a break, a total ceasefire in the harm we do to the planet.
But it's not just about saving the whales, you know. This stillness also forces us to look inward. He paints this picture of the man gathering salt, who finally gets a chance to look down at his hurt hands. It's that moment of self-reflection we never give ourselves, a chance to finally see the cost of our own work, our own burnout.
And then, this might be the most powerful image of all. He talks about people preparing for war, green wars against nature, or actual wars against each other. In that moment of quiet, they would stop. They take off their uniforms, put on clean clothes, and just walk with their so-called enemies, their brothers, doing nothing, just sharing a moment of peace. Wow.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. Is he just talking about being lazy? Or worse, is this about death? Total inactivity? It's a fair question, but Neruda is way ahead of us. He's really clear that's not what he means at all.
Yeah, he's super clear about this. He literally says his idea should not be confused with total inactivity. He wants, and I love this phrase, no truck with death. So this whole thing, it's not about stopping life. It's actually about finding a deeper way to live through that quiet reflection.
So here's the key takeaway, right? The real enemy here isn't being busy. It's that mindless, nonstop rush that leads to this deep underlying sadness. He calls it the sadness of never understanding ourselves. And man, doesn't that just hit home today? That feeling of constant anxiety because we never stop to figure out who we are.
But he also offers a cure. He thinks that maybe, just maybe, a huge silence could be the one thing powerful enough to interrupt that whole cycle, to break us out of that sadness and the way we're always threatening ourselves with death. It's like a giant reset button for all of us.
Okay, so this brings us to the final part of the poem, and it's where he really brings it all home. If you're still not totally sold on this idea of stillness, Neruda points to the best teacher he can think of.
And that teacher? It's the earth itself.
He holds up our own planet as the perfect example of this kind of productive stillness. He's saying, hey, look around. Nature already gets it.
Just think about winter, right? Everything looks dead. The trees are bare, the ground is hard, it seems totally inactive. But we know that's not true. Under the surface, everything is resting, gathering energy, getting ready. That quiet time is absolutely essential for all the life that bursts out in the spring. So, stillness isn't the opposite of life. It's a crucial part of the cycle.
And this is how he ends it. He just turns right back to us, the reader. He says, now I'll count up to 12, and you keep quiet, and I will go. He's done his part. He gave us the idea, the instructions, the reason why. Now he's stepping back. He's starting the count, and the rest is completely up to us.
And so we're left with the same challenge the poem gives us. The real point here isn't just to understand a piece of literature, it's a personal invitation. So I'll leave you with this. What would happen if you actually did it? If you just stopped and counted to 12? What battles, inside yourself or out in the world, would you put on pause? What might you finally see? The biggest question is, what will